Welcome home,
Not to a place.
but to yourself.
You're listening to Starlight and Sage coming home to ourselves,
A place where science meets soul,
where curiosity replaces judgment.
and where we explore what it really means to care for our minds, our bodies, and our lives.
We're not here to convince you,
We're here to learn alongside you.
because your body has been speaking all along.
So wherever today finds you, take a breath and
come home.
Hi, it's Vanessa. Before we begin today's episode, we'd like to offer a brief content advisory. Today's conversation is honest, vulnerable, and touches on topics including parenting, foster care, adoption, trauma, caregiver, mental health, postpartum depression, postpartum psychosis, intrusive thoughts, suicide, self-harm, thoughts of harming a child, hospitalization, and conversations surrounding sex and intimacy. Our hope is that this episode creates more compassion, understanding, and space for conversations that often remain hidden. If any part of today's discussion feels overwhelming, we encourage you to pause, take care of yourself, and return whenever you're ready. Thank you for allowing us to be part of your journey, and as always, welcome home. Hello, beautiful human beings.
Hi.
So, this has been another fucking interesting week. So we're gonna have it's gonna be a wild podcast today, actually. I feel like we have a lot of shit to talk about. Like we have spent the last few weeks having guest speakers on our podcast, and obviously for our listeners, you didn't miss anything. They're not out yet.
Don't worry.
Yeah, no, they're not out yet, but we have had such a wide variety of guests on our podcast. If you guys couldn't tell already, if you're not following us on social media, what the hell are you doing? One, let's start there. Follow us, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. I mean, you can on LinkedIn. It's kind of a little lackluster. Snapchat, wherever we're at, follow us, please. Our emails, if you're not subscribed to our email list, get us your email so that you can go on that. We give our subscribers so much free, practical advice that, why wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm. And Vanessa's great with all the social media. She's so great at tagging me in that. I'm really trying.
It's okay. We all have our strengths.
Yeah, I'll tell her one day, I was like, dude, it took me literally a whole day to get a video posted. By the time, okay, I can record it. And then it's change the baby, feed the baby, give him a nap, and then cook lunch. And then I'm like, dinner. I posted it.
Yeah, for real. It's just, it doesn't take me that long, and it just.
But that's what you said. We all have our strengths, weaknesses, and it's really good to be able to understand them and still work at it. I still want to work at it and not just oh, you can do it all.
Right.
I'm gonna try, but we can see that you're a little stronger at it than me. That's okay.
Yeah.
And when we make up the sword routines, okay, we do this together. You're really great at reading it out and figuring out what needs to be next, but I can come up with the move a little faster. But that's
yeah, we definitely have our strengths and weaknesses. And Shade is better than me because she's good at something. I'm like, that's all you, girl. I don't need to know. I don't want to try.
No, you can try.
Sometimes
I'm gonna teach adult hip hop, which I'm so excited for, and she's gonna do it. Yay! Yeah.
The tone deaf, uncoordinated, can't catch a beat, can't visualize, can't memorize person. Yeah, it's gonna be so much fun. I can't
totally memorize.
I mean, I can, but it's weird. I have to do it so many times. I don't know how you pick up on it. I have to do it over and over and over and over and over again.
But you saying about memorizing, to me, you memorized your speeches. That blows my mind. But I can, memorize a dance.
Right, because you love it.
Yeah.
And I love words.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
nice.
Yeah. Yeah, so going back to our podcast guests, we're just going to say this right now. Shade and I are all about having real conversations with different people. And our podcast, we are not trying to be oh, we're only going to let such and such person in because they align with our values. We're also not going to do that. Oh, you're a holistic health coach. You're a holistic healing practitioner. you do breath work and sound healing, you're not coming on our podcast. Why would we advertise against us? No, we're not doing that. We're going to have them on because everybody needs a specific person, and we are not everybody's specific person. We have declined people investing in our programs in the past because we recognize that our energy fields didn't align, or like the way that we practice holistic healing is going to be vastly different than what this person needs. And like that's the point of everything. Like we're not trying to be something that we're not, and we're not trying to take value away. Like we're really a girl's girl. Like we want to empower every woman. There is enough human beings in this world for everybody,
Yes.
and we can't take them all. So like we're going to have other practitioners on here. We're going to have people who like the way that they believe the world spins and spirituality goes. Maybe we don't totally align with that, but we like get their vibes. Like it's still positivity, it's still love, it's still light. It's still about trying to provide somebody with the bigger picture, which is community, support, and the realization that each one of us is unique. So we will never have somebody come on and be like, you have to do X, Y, Z, and this is the only way. That's the only kind of human being we're not having on our podcast. As you guys can see, for those of you who like watching us, we look like a freaking hot mess today. Like we look rough.
Hey, your daughter said my hair was cute, and I was like, oh, thanks. Like, okay.
Like we'll take it, but no, like I don't know. So we just want to be as real as humanly possible. We have somebody who's going to be joining us today. She is one of my lifelong friends. It's so fucking crazy how we became friends because I was actually dating her brother.
Okay.
And her brother had just gotten back out of the military. Like, bro, I should have known better, but I was like a desperate single mom who was so broken. And I was like, love me. Somebody love me.
Isn't that always the saying back? I should have known better.
And why I didn't. And I probably like on some level knew that it wasn't going to work out.
Weird. Now here's another connection. My best friend, lifelong long friend, I dated her brother.
That's so weird. That's so, what the fuck? That's so weird. It's so weird.
And that was a one too where it was like as we were younger, I was always like, oh, he's so cute. And then when the opportunity happened, I was like, oh, I'm gonna make him my boyfriend. And probably one of the top worst boyfriends I had.
Yeah.
Like very controlling. Crazy. And that's when I let everything like, oh, you can't wear this. You can't talk to this person. But then that was such a good life lesson after we broke up. And I was like, oh, hell no. Ain't nobody telling me what to wear, who to talk to, what to do.
Yeah. So like I never got with the guys who wanted to control me. I got with the guys who wanted to manipulate and abuse me because that's all I knew my whole life. Like my parents manipulated the shit out of me. They abused the shit out of me.
I would say it was a manipulation to a slow to the because it was I don't know how this balances, but he was like the most romantic.
They always are. Like, they are because they know how to play the game.
I don't like, that's not like my thing. I'm not, if you know me, I'm not a holiday person. I'm like, the government does that. I don't buy me a card. I don't want flowers.
Birthdays are shit.
Yeah. But like, I remember like, it was the sweetest Valentine's. He had like rose petals and a steak dinner that he cooked. And then he made me rub his back for an hour while he played video games.
Yeah, for real though. But yeah, so this one, he wasn't even like, he was fucking cute. He was, dude, he was so cute. Too. I know, see, and that's always the problem. And like, here I am, I'm like broken AF. I have a son. Like, my mother was still in the picture at this time. So like, I desperately, like, of course, like on the side, I was hooking up with girls, but like, I couldn't have a girlfriend because my mother was still in the picture and she would take my sisters away from me, or she would like ostracize me, or I'd have to deal with Like, I'm already such a fuck up to her, and like, there was already so many things in my life that I did wrong. Like, I was a single mom and divorced, and like, she didn't want me getting divorced because that was going to be a thing in the church. And
Yeah.
like, it all, of course, always stemmed back to church. But like, I couldn't have a girlfriend still. So I was like, oh, if I like have sex with girls and I can have fun with them, then like I'll deal with whatever kind of guy I have. And it wasn't like I wasn't attracted to guys, but like, I would have much rather had sex with a girl than have sex with a boy. And like, so he was real fucking cute. And like, was he that great at sex? Not really. I mean, come on, like let's be real. But like he was someone, and I just wanted somebody to like see me.
Yeah.
And he was so fucking broke. He was so broken. He was so fucking broken. Um, but yeah, he cheated on me. He went to like parties when I had my kid. So like it was so wild because like we would go out to the bar, we would drink, but then like he would make sure that he would go to a party when I had my kid back, and not like when I could have also gone to a party. So he pretty much like had this like massive orgy at a party. And then like because it was like people that I didn't really associate with, I think he thought he was like gonna like have his cake and eat it too. So like he went to this party and then fucking came back to my apartment and had sex with me after having sex with so many people. Like fucking disgusting. Like sometimes I just want to like bleach my vagina. Okay. Sorry. But seriously, that goes through my mind. Like,
Yeah,
oh, I
I
use
know.
bleach in my own house, but I would like to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that. That's
Like
so
such a betrayal.
yeah.
And then here comes my friend Sadie, and she's like, and okay, like let's preface this by saying we weren't really friends.
Yeah.
She was a few years younger than me, but she was like my boyfriend's sister, and so like we hung out, and we could totally tell that like we vibed with each other, and like her mother really liked me, and she thought like,
Yeah.
oh, maybe this is gonna be a thing. So here we are, we're young, we're like, I don't know, I was 22, 23, 24, somewhere around that age. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to marry your brother and we're going to be sisters. Like,
Yes,
that's what
yeah.
we were thinking. And when she found out that that's what he did, she fucking told me right away. She was like, girl, like,
Yeah.
he like pretty much had an orgy at this party and like you deserve better
I
than
didn't know
that.
that was
That was
happening.
real?
That orgies were happening.
Oh, I've participated in several orgies. It's a good time. It's a
Yeah.
good time. I mean, like, you just have to like know what you're doing,
Yeah.
I guess. And
Our-
like, I don't know.
There was, definitely a lot of drinking and mostly just drinking. And then couples, I remember people would be off having sex. One time I remember there was this party and the song, I hear the song.
Oh my God. Here we go.
And
Yeah.
like, I don't know what was we drank the Kool-Aid that night, but we were all just all the girls were making out with each other
Mhm.
and just played that song on repeat. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
And that's like a whole other topic. We should totally do that. I have so many feelings about like people thinking that like we're all just like straight or we're like all gay and that there's not like a
The
spectrum.
Yeah.
Because like I know like you and I have had this conversation, but Shade's always like, I think it would be like fun to make out with a girl. I just don't know if I could like actually have sex with her.
Yeah.
And like I think that like for women specifically, I think there's a lot less pressure if there isn't a religious component to it. I think there's a lot less pressure for us to like not have to be like, yeah, I'm kind of attracted to girls. I mean, girls are
Well, I
so
always
beautiful.
notice like, with Eric, who I'm with now, and we've been together for a long time, like when we go out somewhere, I'm like, oh, that girl's beautiful. And I'd be like, look at I'm
Look at
a
her
butt.
boobs.
Yeah,
Or
I'm
your
a
butt.
butt.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
you're a
look
butt.
at her ass. Like, that's a nice ass.
Yeah.
And then even I'm like, oh, that guy's hot. And
Yeah.
like
Like
we
you can
we're
be attracted.
Yeah.
And like of course, obviously in the dynamic of your own relationship, like what those boundaries
are.
look
Yeah.
like, right? But like, dude, it's my favorite fucking thing to like for Adam and I to be out and I be like, that girl's so freaking hot. And then like he'll look at her and be like, yeah, she's hot, but look at this one. And like
Yeah.
there's nothing because that's our relationship.
Right.
Because I know without a shadow of a doubt that Adam is mine.
Same.
One, who
well,
thought-
not Adams.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was recording when one of our guests asked if we were partnered.
Yes, yeah.
Was it recording or was it like
yes.
us pre? Okay.
Yeah.
It's freaking hilarious. I don't know. We give off the vibe that we're together. We're not together.
We work together and we don't know how to say, like, you say partner. We've been like, how do we explain this? Because partner, like, it doesn't vibe with us.
Yeah, because like and then I think I must just give such serious, like, she definitely is into chicks vibe that people just like think like, oh, if you're hanging out with me, then you must be into chicks too. I don't know, but like on a regular basis, people mistake us for like a couple. And I'm like, no, she's like my best friend, my business partner, but I hate the word business partner.
Yes,
What
yeah.
didn't we think of something cute, but I don't fucking remember.
I don't remember what it was. You have to write it down.
Something.
Yeah. We were searching. Well, and then like we had our picture taken last year.
Yeah.
At
our local
farmers market. And so like this circulates on Facebook. So we've had people like reach out and I'm like wearing the flannel. And I'm so like awkwardly had my hand on her shoulder, like, oh, there we go. There's another one.
There's another picture. And you know damn well that people are like, oh my God, look at that lesbian couple. They're so cute. And I'm like, oh shit. Like, no, actually we're not. But
like going back to you saying like Adam is your like I think back to like same with Eric. I feel that wholeheartedly too, that we're meant to be like, and I have no feelings of like, back before you had a feeling where you wanted to look through somebody's phone.
Yeah.
And that feels, and it feels disgusting to me. It makes me want to vomit to have that feeling. And I feel bad for people that are going through that or have that feeling. But I have zero urge to want to look through his phone or any other type of thing. Like we share a phone charger. So it's like whoever plugs it in, like that's our thing to like do that. And I'll have moments like, do you want to? And like, no, I don't. And like it feels good to feel like that.
Yeah. I'm like,
and I know there's people probably he's a streamer. There's somebody that has sent something to him.
Sure.
I know that.
Yeah.
I've had people before too, but it's just like it's not a thing. He knows I talk to other guys. I have a lot of guy friends.
Yeah.
I'll go to Madison and hang out with a guy friend that I had before I met Eric. And be there, and it's not a thing.
Big deal.
Yeah.
But I think it's really just about like respect, that level of trust, and then like the understanding that like you can be so open and communicate, and like there are no secrets. Like, dude, Adam and I have no boundaries. And for some people, boundaries are absolutely a necessity. But and like again, it's about like each individual. Like if that is how you can function within a relationship is having necessary boundaries and communication with those boundaries, then so be it. But like Adam and I, we don't have boundaries. Bro, there's not a single part of my body that Adam hasn't unfortunately had to deal with or see. Like he's seen everything, and like we
nobody wanted to see my hemorrhoids. I was like, will you guys check? And
I'll check your hemorrhoids.
My son's like, I'll check.
Yeah,
the 8-year-old.
Right. Yeah, and even Adam, like one time I had gotten done with a race, and how fucking off topic are we right now? Yeah. But like I had a race, and the whole race, my butt hurt so bad. And like I've had a long history of hemorrhoids because I had been constipated the majority of my existence until I started healing my physical body. I had hemorrhoids since I was 12 years old.
Oh my gosh.
Just think, a 12-year-old with hemorrhoids. So like I've always known about hemorrhoids because that was just like a regular occurrence in my life. Well, I had this raise and I was like, dude, my hemorrhoids must be so bad. I can't believe I can feel it. But the pain was so intense. I was like, there's something wrong. And TMI, for those of you who are squeamish about body parts,
should probably say
like freaking fast forward right now. But like I ended up having a thrombosed hemorrhoid. And it was like the size of a grape. And I like knew that there was something wrong, but like I couldn't see. So then I finally, I got in the contorted position and I finally had the mirror there and I looked. My brain did not. So remember, this was a time before like, I mean, other than being a CNA and just like being in and out of the doctor so much, I didn't know what the hell that was.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is that? And it looked gross. And so I told Adam, I said, bro, I'm so sorry, but like, you're gonna have to look at my anus. And he was like, I'm sorry, what? And I was like, you've seen everything. Like,
Yeah.
what's one more
Yeah.
part of my body?
Yeah.
And he was like, all right, let's do this. And like he looked, and my husband is a very practical human being. Like he doesn't go to the doctor for anything. Like he thinks it's really silly when like, there are big issues. Like
Yeah.
when he blows himself up with our freaking smoker. He
Yeah.
didn't want to go to the emergency room. I was like, okay, this is a time for Western medicine, friend.
Yeah.
So he's not about going to the doctor either. And he looked at me and he looked at it again and he looked at me. The look on his face was
You're
horror.
like, yeah.
And I knew in that moment before
Yeah.
he opened his mouth that it was bad. He goes, yeah, we gotta take you in. And I was like, oh shit. I never even heard of a
Yeah.
thrombosed hemorrhoid. It's barbaric, first off. Fun fact of the day. Your anus cannot have local anesthetics. It doesn't numb. And the shot for numbing hurts just as bad, if not worse, than when they have to use a scalpel and lance the thrombosed hemorrhoid to get the blood clot out, which is essentially what it is. And the doctor in the emergency room, when he told me that he was literally going to cut open this thrombosed hemorrhoid to like relieve the blood clot out of it and the pressure, I was like, no, you're going to give me something. And he's like, it's maybe a 50% chance that it's actually going to numb the area.
Yeah.
And he was like, and the shot is pretty painful. And I said, 50-50 is still 50-50.
Yeah.
Give me the shot. That shot was not, he was not lying. He was not lying. That was the most painful. It was so, like we live in a day and age where we have so much technology. How have we not figured out how to numb that area? So crazy. So anyways, I ended up having to have a hemorrhoid. I had to have surgery. It's a hemorrhoidectomy. Dude, most painful experience of my whole entire life. But I kept getting the thrombosed hemorrhoid, and the doctor was like, you do run the risk of sepsis. So like you just like, so it was a no-brainer. Like I had to have the surgery.
And I'm gonna say I got an eyelash that is like one down, like not in the line of all my other
I
eyelashes.
can actually see it.
Yeah, so it's like it gets stuck. So that's my problem.
Yeah, I'd pluck that.
I know, I pluck it, but then it grows back little.
Oh, yeah.
So, and it just sometimes gets tangled. So I don't know what that is. So that's my problem. If you're watching, why I'm having an issue with my eye.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. Oh my God. Dude, we circled into some wild. That was a weird rabbit hole to get down. Okay.
Well, we were talking about Sadie and how
and lesbians. Dude, we went so crazily out there. Anyway, Sadie is coming. So not that we not that we follow the trends and we want to be trendy, but a topic of conversation that we've been regularly having lately, not just because of the case that's happening right now. And those of you who are crime junkies, you guys are definitely following the Lindsay Clancy court case. And for those of you who don't know, she is a mother who devastatingly so took the lives of her 3 children and tried to take her own life. And there is a ton of controversy online over it. People are like, and genuinely, people are like on one side of the spectrum or the other. Either they wholeheartedly believe that, obviously, like this court case again is not to determine whether or not she murdered her children. It is evident she murdered her children. What the trial is trying to do is, was she in her right mind? Does she need to go to prison for the rest of her life, or do we need to put her in an institution and allow her to get the help that she so very clearly needs? So the end of the spectrum is, some people believe that she's just a cold-blooded, meticulous, like premeditated killer, and that she just like killed her children, and then they somehow believe that she like pretended to try and kill herself, but she tried killing herself in 3 different ways. We're definitely gonna have to do a big trigger warning before this. Okay. This remind me.
Well, like you were saying, like not just because of this case, but I've also, like, we've had topics like this conversations like this a lot with just any of watch the murder shows, like you said, the crime shows. Like, where is this breakdown happening? Like we know, okay, a lot of the trauma and things like that. And then, okay, we got our hormones and other, like, where are all these factors and when is this
When's enough?
Yeah.
And like as a society, look at that. Is that a giant spider?
I don't. Where are you looking?
In the window. Bro. That is a large spider.
That is creepy.
It's on the outside. It's not on the.
It's like in between.
It's the in between.
I can't tell if it's a spider or we'll just.
No, bro, that's a spider. Okay. So sorry, you guys. When is enough? Because we have come I feel like as a society, we have come a long ways in terms of mental health, but we are so far away from what we actually need to be at in terms, more specifically in terms of females. Like I should have pulled up the statistics so that we could read the statistics, but the statistics on the lack of knowledge that Western medicine has on the female anatomy, on the female physiology, on the way that female brains work versus male brains. I mean, like, there is such a stark contrast. And it's because, like, we fucking live in a patriarchal society. And this isn't saying, like, all men are bad. We're not saying that. So, like, let's be clear. That's not what we're saying. But in general, as a mass population, this patriarchal society that we live in does nothing for women. We are abiding by schedules that are only supposed to be sufficient for men. We are existing in a plane of reality where it is male dominated in every sense of the word. And like there's such a disconnect in mental health for women. And like people don't understand the severity of what a female psyche can go through when there is something not aligned with our hormones.
Yeah, I feel like nobody's just being heard.
Yeah.
Like just in general, like with you go to the doctor and you're saying this thing, we know, just like with holistic healing, like you know your body.
Yes.
And nobody's listening.
Yeah, and everybody just wants to put a Band-Aid on it or a medication on it or like dismiss what your experience is. And it's so freaking devastating.
And when you're saying like how has like the science with it, my uncle had committed suicide and he was just left his appointment and like wasn't being heard. I don't know like what meds or what. And then like he jumped at the facility.
Right.
Like walking out the door and that's
what happened. And like, let's be clear, like scientifically speaking, our body is designed to do one thing, and that's survive. Right? Okay, so if our body's sole purpose is survival, oh my God, perfect timing. If our body's sole purpose in life is to what? Right here.
No, I'm not trying to jump in.
Listen, she literally just said that. She's like, I'm not trying to jump in right now. We're like in the thick of it.
Yeah.
We're in the thick of it.
Can you cut me out? No,
you weirdo.
Yeah,
You're not gonna be like, do you see the way we look? We don't get nobody.
We already
you already it?
Yeah.
Okay, this is Sadie. We were just talking about how we met.
Oh, okay. And then we made a weird connection that your lifelong friendship and my lifelong friendship that I have with a friend, I also dated her brother.
Okay.
So we're like, we didn't make that. Yeah,
loser.
He was a controlling, like, can't wear shorts, don't talk to guys. Yeah, he broke up with me because somebody gave me a ride home from school.
Like a fucking psycho.
Yeah.
Clearly, you're better off.
Yeah. It all worked out.
Yeah. So we literally just touched the surface of talking about how like in 2026, like we haven't caught up for like females in any regard to like mental health, like the disconnect between like what happens to a female psyche, like all of that. And I was just about to say like our one fucking job, our body's one job is to allow us to survive. So when somebody is thinking about potentially committing suicide, or when somebody attempts suicide, it goes against the very biology that keeps us alive. So it's not like a, oh, mind over matter. Like there's something physically wrong with the way that your brain is operating in that moment, with like your neurotransmitters, with the chemical pathways, because your body is designed to make sure that you stay alive. It's the same reason why we can't bite through our skin. Your brain goes, hell no. Obviously, there's pain,
Right.
but like you can't do it. So we were just like talking about how like there's, for the majority of the people right now online, there's such a huge like, either you believe she's a cold blooded killer, or you believe that like there was some serious psychosis and there was no way for her to not do it. But Sadie and I literally just had like a mini conversation, and she's like in the in between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like, so 2 years ago, I had some like really bad mental health issues. I got diagnosed with bipolar 2. So I was suffering from like extreme depression. And throughout my life, I just got diagnosed with like major depressive disorder. And I kept getting put on SSRIs and like medicated in the wrong way and diagnosed the wrong diagnoses. So then it just kept getting worse. And if you know about bipolar, you know that SSRIs or antidepressants can just keep making it worse. And it's actually really dangerous because it causes mania, psychosis, all of that. So it got to the point where I was struggling with agoraphobia and I couldn't leave my house for 2 years. And it was so ridiculous because I'm the type of mom that like wants to be there for everything for my kids. I didn't step foot in my kids' school for 2 years, and like the teachers were all judging me because they never met me before. Nick was doing absolutely everything.
And he was your husband.
Yeah, he was doing the grocery shopping, the soccer game. He did everything while working full time while I was laying in bed crying. And every single day he'd go to work and I would like beg him not to go to work because I was too afraid to stay home, even though there was nothing wrong. It was just like for some reason, I had this like doom feeling like something terrible was going to happen. And then it started like progressing into like thoughts of death. Like, not that I wanted to die, but like every 5 seconds, the thought of death, of me dying, would like keep happening. And it just kept progressing. I would go to the doctor. I had a doctor that I was seeing for a long time, and they just kept telling me, like, oh, you're depressed, try this, try this, try this. And it turned into like a psychosis type situation. And obviously, my husband knew the whole time. I was telling him, like, it's getting really bad, and basically the doctors kept telling me, like, we can only do so much in family medicine. And it got to the point where I was begging for help. I was begging Nick to help me, and finally I ended up self-admitting into the hospital for 7 days. It didn't really help me because, again, they just couldn't understand the diagnosis. They just kept thinking like depression, depression. They referred me to a psychiatrist, like triaged me to the top, and they diagnosed me with bipolar immediately. And I was so pissed because like I couldn't understand, like, it can't be bipolar. Obviously, that's crazy. I'm not crazy. It was, and that was the thing, is that like,
And she's not crazy.
No,
And you are not crazy if you have bipolar.
no, and that's the thing. Now I couldn't grasp that diagnosis because my father was bipolar, adopted father, and like he was like manic crazy, like he would do these awful things. But he had bipolar 1, so like I didn't know the difference. And basically once I finally like wrapped my head around it and was properly medicated, I realized that they were right, and I'm great now. But it got so dark before the proper diagnosis and proper medication that I was having psychosis. I was having thoughts of death. I was having these intrusive thoughts of my children dying, not like me killing them, but all different things, them falling down the stairs and cracking their head open, me backing over them with my car on accident. Just all kinds of like crazy, horrific thoughts. So it's like,
when you were in that, when you were having those thoughts, did you understand that those thoughts were irrational?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did to some degree, but it didn't make it any less scary. And it like kept progressing into like, I didn't want my kids to leave the house anymore. Like I was just having these like irrational, like I could see it progressing. So that's like, obviously I wasn't exactly where Lindsay Clancy was, but like, I feel like if I kept
on that path with those medications and those doctors that didn't understand, and I wasn't properly relaying the information to Nick, maybe I would have, who knows? I mean, it's just like, again, your brain is just broken. So I kind of feel like it's half her fault because she didn't demand the
Well, she
help.
did. So that's what I was gonna say. Like, cause like you haven't really been following like a
A
lot
lot, well, it just keeps
ish.
showing up. Like,
That's the
Yeah,
same. I know.
yeah,
I
okay.
was like
So I've
scrolling and was
been
like,
yeah.
oh, okay,
I've
I'm gonna
watched
read a
like
little bit and
I've watched parts of the trial, but
I've
like,
watched all of it so
yeah,
far. I'm like I like I think in your case, and this is like why I was like, dude, you have to come on. Because like in your case, you had the husband who wouldn't take no for an
no,
answer.
but
yeah,
he did. Like, he didn't understand. He did end up helping me somewhat
Yeah.
in the end. It's just like, for him, he was like, I don't know what to do.
yeah,
You tell me what you need. And I
Mhm.
kept telling him, like, oh, well, like I don't know what I need. I just
yeah.
need the doctor to hear me, but the doctor's telling me this. They're giving me this. Like, and he was just like, okay, like, that's fine. Just, like, he didn't really know. And he didn't want to face the fact that I wanted to kill myself.
Mhm.
And he couldn't understand why I would like force him to take all of his sick leave to stay home with me. And then when
But
he
he
would,
did.
and then, yeah, and he did. But then when he would stay home, I was perfectly fine because like the fears went away. It was just like irrational. So like I could see that Lindsay Clancy was having these irrational, psychotic thoughts that she couldn't control, but also like it's kind of on her husband, it's kind of on her. Like, I got the help before I knew it was progressing. So like I self-admitted to the hospital
Mhm.
because I was like, I'm going to kill myself. And I know that. And like I can't stop those thoughts. My husband, while he understands and he's like supporting me in getting help, he didn't know what the help looked like. He didn't know what to do,
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
like he was there listening, and maybe I don't know, like, was her husband
So like
like that?
this is the disconnect for me that I struggle with greatly. So he's a highly intelligent man, which again, we all know that like the most intelligent men can be the dumbest men. You know what I mean? Like intellectually
Yeah.
speaking. Um so she would he seemed very absent. That's what I
Yeah.
think is the issue. Is like in the beginning when she was saying that she was like gonna go on Zoloft, when she was saying that she was depressed, he was like, okay. He didn't attend any of the doctor's
Yeah.
appointments. He didn't talk to the doctors. He didn't like ask her more questions. He did like the very like cliche thing that they tell you to do. She would say, I'm thinking about killing myself. And he would say, do you have a plan? And she would say no. But like I feel like in those times, either A, she was so terrified because she was a labor and delivery nurse. In some capacity, she understood that she was having postpartum depression, maybe not to the extent of understanding that this was psychosis, but like she was begging people for help. She got put on like 19 different
Yeah.
medications. She got admitted into a facility, and unfortunately, it was during like a holiday. So I think that there was a disconnect there. But like, also, when you're going through psychosis like that, when you're living day in and day out, where you're having insomnia, where all of these things are happening, I feel like at some point you've said the same thing so often that you're almost like, okay, this is my life now.
Yeah.
And then you just like internalize and deal with it. Although I never have personally gone through postpartum depression, I went through having to tell doctors over and over and over and over again what I was experiencing, and nobody believing me, or
Yeah.
literally just putting me on medication. And to preface this too, you have ADHD,
Yeah. I'm
and
not.
so does Lindsay.
So, and that's the thing too, is that
Yes,
being
say that.
misdiagnosed, they just kept putting me on more and more and
Yeah.
more Vyvanse, like Adderall, um, Ritalin, and all these things. And it was, I don't want to say it was making it worse because I was able to work, I guess, more, instead of like lay in bed and cry. But it was making it worse. So then when I actually did see like the real psychiatrist, he was like, you can't take those anymore with bipolar. Like,
Right.
so now, even though I was like, what do you mean? Like, I can't live without these. Like, I can't function without these. I don't have, I still have ADHD. I still really, I struggle with that. But like now that I am on,
The appropriate
the appropriate
medication.
medicines, I don't really struggle with it as much anymore. And he was right. It's like both SSRIs and antidepressants, along with, oh, now we're taking benzos and now we're taking Adderall, um, just all different stuff. it messes with your brain even worse, I feel like. And then, yeah, and it just progresses and it can cause psychosis. And
Right.
psychosis is nothing to mess with because you can't tell what's right and what's wrong. I mean, and you feel like this is what I have to do, this is what I'm supposed to do. And it just doesn't make sense to someone in psychosis.
Right. And when you have ADHD, your brain and your body's physical and chemical reaction to particular medications does the opposite
Yeah.
of what they believe it should do. So then there's like this whole other level of, and everybody with ADHD, just as everybody in general, your body reacts differently than the next person's going to react. So like one medication may have been like the medication that like put you over the edge.
Yeah.
Instead of doing the opposite
So
too.
Yeah,
it's
like-
funny because they started me on Ritalin and everybody knew by like 3 o'clock to stay away from me because I was a bitch at 3 o'clock. Like it would just hit like as soon as that Ritalin would wear off. So then they switched me to Vyvanse and I was fine. That didn't happen anymore. So it was, yeah. And the same thing happened with Alice. Like it made her, my daughter, it made her like super violent Ritalin, but then they put her on Vyvanse and she was fine. It's just different body chemistries and the wrong med.
Right, yeah, like everything, this whole thing of like one fits all.
Yeah.
Again,
It
it's
just
not,
doesn't.
it's non-existent. So you're getting misdiagnosed because they're looking at, oh, this is what I taught in school, that this is the signs of what have you.
Yeah.
So that's
Depression,
depression, so that's
ADHD,
what you
whatever.
are. Like,
Yeah.
no. And
Yeah.
like you're saying, you were telling doctors, like, I'm begging people to listen to me. And I was so lucky to have somebody with, I struggled with diabetes, that I had somebody that listened to me because I said, like, I can feel this in my body.
Mhm.
Like, I know something. And then she's like, oh, your tests look fine, but I'm listening to you that you're saying you're not.
Right.
So then it was like, oh, what a relief. And then we found a way of like, oh, okay, we're going to do these things.
Yes.
But you're not fitting the criteria of what we say as a doctor.
So initially when I got diagnosed with bipolar, they put me on a couple different like antipsychotics, which is different obviously than an antidepressant. But for me, it took some time of being on these that it wasn't getting better, but instead I was feeling, it's called anhedonia. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's like basically it sucks all the joy out of your life. Like, so I'm a really like, I guess I would consider myself an artist for a living.
Absolutely.
And I wasn't able to create anymore. I wanted to, but it like took my creativity away. I couldn't. It was like 2 years of being on these antipsychotics where it was like I have zero joy. Everywhere we went, like whether I was visiting someone, I was hanging out with a friend, anything, we were doing something fun with the kids. I always felt like I was like constantly checking the time, like I have somewhere else to be. Like this isn't for me. Like okay, it's time to go. I need to do something else. Because I was constantly craving like dopamine that I didn't have anymore. So then I told the doctors, they kept switching it. It was just the same thing constantly. And then I did my own research and they tell you not to go on Reddit. The doctors always say don't go on Reddit because, but I did because I felt like Reddit has personal real experiences with different drugs. So even though, yeah, you can't diagnose yourself with Reddit, like you can read other people's experiences. So
And knowledge is power.
100%. So people were like saying like Lamictal, which is actually an anti-seizure medication, but it was saving people's lives with bipolar. So I mentioned to my psychiatrist, who I actually really liked, hey, like, could I try it? Like, because nothing was working, and he was realizing like none of these are working. And he was like, you know what? If you want to try it, let's try it. Like, why not? And I swear to God, it changed my life. I've been on it ever since. I don't feel any of that anymore. It's a scary thought to know I'll be on it for the rest of my life or else, but it saved my life. I'm good now.
Yeah.
I'm working again. I'm at every soccer game again. I don't have like a tremor from the antidepressants that they put me on. I'm not like sweating all day. Like I'm better, you know? So sometimes you have to advocate for yourself and do the research yourself on like what is best for you and your body. I think.
And when you're saying those experiences, those are real people saying their real experiences.
Yeah.
There's no like, they're not sugarcoating it.
It's not a clinical study.
Yeah.
No, but it's actual people who tried it. And there was, of course, people that were like, that didn't work for me.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, but the things that those people are saying didn't work for them, the things that did work for them didn't work for me. So it's like, I want to try what's the harm, like I've
I mean,
tried
at
all
this
these
point,
things. Yeah.
right. Yeah.
So, and he was like, sure, like let's try it. And I was right.
Yeah. And here's the other thing too. So one of the things in the trial that the prosecution is like trying to state is that Lindsay Clancy did all of these activities with her kids and didn't seem like she was had the inability to do them. They went to a water park, they did this, they did that, but just
But
like
is
what
this
you
like
said,
social media, like where people,
no,
where it looks?
no.
Like I had so much pictures of
Yeah,
me and
you
my
did.
family where it looks like everything's perfect, and people tell me all the time, like your life is perfect,
Yeah.
you're so happy.
Yeah.
Little did they know what was actually going on. So I'm just curious, like if those are actually
No, so it was like
photos.
surveillance
Okay.
footage of her at water parks, surveillance footage of them at dinners. Like there was videos of like birthday parties and what have you. But like you were also doing those things.
Mhm.
People didn't
Mhm.
know until it got to a point where you couldn't go out of your house. That was a little
But
bit
as long as
different.
I had Nick, it's really weird because as long as I was with
Mhm.
Nick, I could do
Then
those
you were
things.
fine.
But if Nick
Yeah.
was like, here's $500, take the kids to the water park. No.
No,
Mm-mm.
yeah,
No.
right. And so
So
Lindsay was always with Patrick during those experiences. We also have to remember, and I don't know why nobody's fucking talking about this. Like, did we forget? COVID was a thing. So
Mhm.
Lindsay wasn't going into a doctor's office, physically seeing a doctor and saying, there's something really fucking wrong with me. She was having 15-minute Zoom calls with these doctors. It was 15 minutes of them listening to her say there's something wrong with me and then being like, oh girl, it's fine. Like everybody's
Or
depressed right
like,
now.
oh, you just have anxiety. Like,
Yes.
try this.
Yeah. And like, and the fact that like none of the doctors also like just blatantly said like this is definitely postpartum depression. And like Sadie, for you, I think, in my opinion, not that my opinion matters, I'm not a professional, whatever, but I think you probably suffered from postpartum depression to some degree since you had Gavin, your oldest.
Yeah, I think it really started then, but when I had this like when I was admitted to the hospital for 7 days, I had my daughter in 2023 and that had happened in 2024.
Yes.
So it was, yeah, I think it could have. But then also with bipolar, they say that
Right.
it doesn't usually onset until your 30s.
Yeah.
So at that time,
And
I was
Lindsay.
31 or 32. So like that too, like yeah, maybe she seemed fine because she was fine, and then all of a sudden, so
She wasn't.
I'm not convinced that it's not even bipolar for her, that it might be
A lot of people online,
Yeah.
a lot of psychiatrists online are actually weighing in on this and saying that they do believe that she fits the classic
Yeah.
signs of having bipolar.
People
and
think
it not being
bipolar
done.
is like they're like happy, mad, and to some degree for some people it is, but there's
Right.
two different classifications of bipolar. Bipolar 1 is manic depressive, but the mania is so extreme. And then bipolar 2 is like major depression, and it's actually more dangerous in that aspect because more people die or kill people in that. And then like it's like hypomania, like for me buying pets, every time I was having like hypomania, it would be like, this puppy is what I need, obviously, and I go get the puppy instead of like gambling all my life savings away or like divorcing my husband. It was like little things like that. So that's the difference. So I mean, it's something that I'm assuming bipolar 2 would fit her better because she wasn't having these like crazy up times. She was
Right.
just having.
And she was like a very meticulous person too. So
Yeah.
like part of what the prosecutor is saying is like she was controlling, like she had like stuff, she was a nurse. So records were her fucking life.
Yeah.
And like you could like the prosecution was like saying like, oh, she had these very specific notes for the babysitter, like down to like the minute. Like you're gonna put I can't remember her youngest son, Dawson. No, I think that was the second one. Caleb.
Yeah, I can't remember either.
Oh god, Palin
Yeah.
was the baby. Yeah, so she was saying like, oh, okay, like you're gonna put him down at 9:59, and it's gonna be after XYZ. Well, okay, everything in her life was recorded, documented, or put on some sort of schedule. We also have to remember that she wasn't being heard. This is during COVID. She wasn't being seen appropriately. Her husband was listening, but not listening because he was doing real life. He was leaving to go to New York for 2 days, going out with the boys. He was taking one child and not taking the other two to various things. So she had to exist in a reality in which she wasn't even sure of was real.
Yeah.
And then she was documenting everything. And like she was trying to control the uncontrollable. And so, like, to me, like if I were to look at something like that, and of course hindsight is 2020 as usual, but like you could see she wanted to record and document everything because she didn't know what was real and what wasn't real. She was hearing voices, but like, and at what point do you feel like you've told somebody so many times and nobody understands and nobody's listening? Now you have to be quiet because
Yeah.
nobody's listening anyways. And
it's just kind of like everybody thinks it's like the victim mentality, like, oh, she's just needs more attention,
Right.
she's just crying out for attention. And
Yeah,
it's
and, like,
some people that is the case, but sometimes it's really
it's not. Yeah. And like the prosecution was also saying like, oh, so you're saying like she had these like anxious feelings anytime she would have to go back to work, but she never did go back to work. Every mother in the history of the fucking world since we have gained our rights has been in that position where like it is unnatural to leave our children.
3 months is not enough time.
I'm already texting right now.
Yeah.
How's the baby?
Yes, my daughter.
I've been gone for an hour and 20 minutes.
My daughter is 3 years old, and I have 4 other children that are older, and she still sleeps with me. If I go anywhere, she comes with me. Like I went on a work trip by myself. I took her with me. She's 3 years old. Like, why can't you cut the cord? Because it gives me anxiety because she's my baby. It's not natural for someone to leave their baby after 3 months to go to work.
No.
Or any amount of, like you're going to have anxiety. And it's one of those things that exposure over time, I think will ease it. But like it's nature for a woman to feel anxiety over
historically speaking.
Yeah, where would they have been going? They would have been
with us. They were with the women. And like and I know like some of my audience that are also my clients, I know that they're probably sick of me saying this, but I will say it until I'm blue in the face. The only reason why we're existing in 2026 in the way that we did is because modernization and industrialization catapulted us as a society so far in advancement. Our biological evolutionary physiology has not caught up to 2026. Our bodies are still thousands of years in the past. We haven't evolved as a human physical body in the same way that we have as a society in 2026. Our brain is still so much so like
we're still just human and we're still women. Like, just because we want rights and we want the right to choose to work all the time, if you want that, doesn't mean that it changes the next woman who just wants to be with her baby, but also still has to pay the bills. So we're still human. Yeah,
and we're like we're in like the worst space ever because we literally have to do it all. We have to go to work, we have to be the best mothers, we have to be present. There's so many roles that women specifically have to play, and at the end of the day, if us as women don't do that, the world ceases to exist.
Yeah.
And like that's what people like society, men, like other women, you're not recognizing that if women stopped, the world stops.
Right.
We are the entire basis of the world. That's why the patriarchy is unnatural, why we should have a matriarchy. Women should be in charge. Women should be making the decisions because if women were making the decisions in the beginning of our like modernization and industrialization, we wouldn't be living in the society of today.
Of everybody having mental illness and everybody not being able to make their own choices. Like we're supposed to be able to make our own choices, but our psyche doesn't, support that. We're how can we be mothers and work full time and be successful at both? Like we're supposed to be the best mother all the time, 24/7, because the dad's not going to do that. They don't have to because they work, and that's that. But men aren't making enough money to support everybody. We're supposed to just keep having babies, but yet support them. I mean, it's just a cycle that,
and it's a terrible vicious cycle because also for men, like men can't have emotions, men can't be sensitive, men can't do this, men historically speaking have been told that emotions are feminine. Like crying is feminine. You have to be this strong, cold, calculated human being. But when we look back before we like became a quote unquote functioning society, men had giant emotions that they were able to express in healthy ways because they were the ones who were being the protectors. And again, biologically and evolutionarily speaking, that is what men are biologically supposed to do. They're supposed to be the protectors. They're supposed to be the providers. They're supposed to be the one who assesses the threat and takes care of it. They're supposed to be physically demanded of because that's how their body flourishes. Why men's testosterone levels replenish 24/7, and why women, our sex hormones don't replenish unless we're resting and we're sleeping.
But we
don't
live in a
have that.
society that doesn't
Accommodate
work
that.
anymore
No.
because one man can't afford
To
the
do any of
lifestyle
that.
we're living. So
Yeah.
like that falls on, and now
Yeah.
you raise the babies and you supply half the income, or
Yeah.
else, or else your whole family suffers.
Right.
So that's where
Or you
again,
don't have a husband or a partner
Right.
because he's working 2, 3, 4 different jobs.
right. Either you stay home and you suffer financially, or you go to work and you suffer emotionally. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's where women, I feel like, have more mental illness or mental health
Mhm.
issues because it's just this huge weight that hardly anyone can carry.
Right.
Right.
Even if you have the best support person.
Right.
And like Adam, like bless his little soul. When I go into like my like moments of like being like so disparaged and I'm like talking to him, he will literally say to me, like, I can see that these emotions are super strong for you. I can see that you're feeling all of this. I don't fucking understand it.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
And like he can acknowledge that it doesn't make sense to me, but it doesn't mean that he invalidates my feelings.
Yeah.
He like understands that these feelings are real, that these thoughts are real, what have you. But like for some men, there's such a larger disconnect that they can't see that. And I
Yeah.
think like Patrick Clancy is a really, I have a lot of feelings about him. But I think he's a really prime example of a man who is, I feel like he existed in this world that he thought he was supposed to be in. You're supposed to find the trophy wife, marry her, have the babies, do all of these things. But then like he had the ability to disconnect from that. He
Yeah.
was working, but he was and like he was present, but he wasn't present.
He thought he was doing his part, I
Right.
feel like, doing the
Yeah.
man thing, but he wasn't doing the husband part.
He wasn't doing like the life partner
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
He wasn't hearing her the way that she needed to be heard because any rational person, and this is like what it drives me nuts, rationally speaking, if somebody is saying to you, I want to kill myself and kill my children, who in their right fucking mind would leave that person alone with themselves or with their children? But then
Yeah.
in the same tune, he was like, but she was okay. She was functioning. She was still being a mother. She was still providing care for the children. So I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
And like the day that she murdered the children, he literally said it was the best day that she's had.
Yeah, but so much can happen in the best day.
Yeah.
Well, why
That's
was
what I
she?
think.
But,
Yeah,
like I'm asking, I want people to ask, why was it the
the
best
best
day?
day.
Because her psychosis had progressed so wholeheartedly that she knew this was the last day that her children and her were going to live on the earth. Like, come on, like get
Yeah,
with it.
and in her mind, that's what she felt like she needed to do
Yeah,
for them and for herself. So
Right.
like maybe she was really happy and
because it was going to be the end of all of the suffering.
the pain for her, and she thought
Yeah.
that they should be with her.
And that's
Yeah.
like a cycle happens.
Mhm.
Like you said, like this was not like that, but like when I thought I had the best day at my job, and then I got fired an hour later.
Yeah,
Like I thought this was the best
Yeah.
day ever. And then an hour later, I'm like, this is the worst day ever. But then I look back like, okay, this is how it all happened. So yeah, she's
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, there's just this case, like, to me, I think that the biggest injustice about this case is the fact that this case exists. I think that
Mhm.
that Lindsay being in that courtroom is fucking vile because she's been in a mental institution since this happened.
Well, and is it true? I heard that like the entire time she's been in the facility that she
Yes.
just doesn't speak. Like that she's just like this
Oh, catatonic.
shell of a person. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's true or not. That's just what I saw. But
I have seen that as well.
if that's the case, then like clearly she's regretting. She's sick about it. She doesn't even
She
have
said that every day.
words for anything because she's living that moment forever.
Has
Right.
she spoke yet? during the-
No, and I don't know, dude. I don't even know how they would put her. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, who approved her to even stand trial.
Right, she shouldn't be.
She shouldn't be. Like, if she's been in a hospital for ever since this happened and there hasn't been enough progress for them to even be able to move her into prison, if this is like what the state believes she needs to be at, is that not evidence enough?
But what good is going to come out of her going to prison? But then what good is her being free? She needs to
shouldn't
just be in
free.
a facility for the rest of her life.
Yeah.
That's the end goal. I feel like she's not going to have a good life being free. And she's not, being in prison isn't going to help anybody either. Like,
Right.
clearly she's
It's good that
unwell.
topic is coming up. Like, now more people are talking about it. But like
Yeah.
you said, having the trial, I think that's like, another like, oh, maybe media thing.
Yeah, like a
it's-
public
it's a
scrutiny.
Yeah,
It's
it feels disgusting.
Yeah.
But I'm glad people are having these conversations. But
Right.
now, are things gonna change?
Fuck no, they're
Yeah,
not going to change.
What?
They're not
Yeah,
going
what's
to change.
gonna be like? Yeah, we don't need to worry about like
There needs to be
figuring.
laws that get
Yes.
put into place
Yes.
to protect women in a scenario like this.
Yeah.
And like, I don't
And the
necessarily.
bullshit, like, okay, I'm having checkups now. I have a 5-month-old. So every time I go, they're asking, like,
Yeah.
do you have these thoughts? And like, I'm fortunate enough that I haven't.
Mhm.
I have like pending, you have that like when he was in the bassinet, and I'd be like,
Yeah.
oh gosh,
Yes.
like we still check, like, is he breathing?
That's
like,
nature for
yeah,
mothers
that's
to
like-
keep their baby alive.
Yeah,
like everyone feels
I
that,
have
yeah.
that. I haven't had these other thoughts. But now, like, it's so not even personable. Like, if I was having those thoughts, I probably would say no on your
I
on
have
your-
had those thoughts and said no.
on your stupid piece of paper.
Well, and they like
Mhm.
even with my like severe problems, they give you every appointment. They give you like a little form to fill out,
Yeah.
and it's like in the past 2 weeks, how often have you thought about suicide? Well, I mean that's really like a trick question, kind of. Or like in the last 2 weeks, how hard is it for you to focus, or how like speaking rapidly or too slow? Like it's just all these silly questions, and it's like that's not in the past 2 weeks doesn't really have the whole picture. You know what I mean?
It
It's really
doesn't,
hard.
yeah.
And if I tell you, okay, everything's been great in the last 2 weeks, does that just like disregard what happened last month or what's going to happen tomorrow or what happened? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it just isn't enough. Like these basic little forms and
Right.
questions
I feel like
aren't touching anything.
right. We need to find something that is actually engaging to helping people open up. And then when
Yeah.
they do open up, what is going to be done about it? Are you going to actually listening to the words I'm telling you? And
Yeah.
now what's going to happen?
And then women also have the fear of their children being removed.
That's
Yeah.
my,
Then
yes.
CPS. Like
Yeah.
I can't even freaking tell you how many times like I have like when I was so sick, there would have been no way that I would have told a doctor, yeah, I want to kill myself because I can't stand existing in my fucking body
You can't
anymore.
even take care of yourself, so they're gonna think like, how are you
how can I take
possibly
care of your kids?
right?
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
my kids are going to get taken away.
I had to like I would always want Nick to come to my appointments with me because I would have to like constantly reiterate to the doctor like I'm not able to parent right now, but like Nick does everything and he's great at it. You know
And
what
it's
I mean?
okay.
Like
Our
yeah.
children are still safe.
I felt like that was I couldn't go by myself because immediately they're gonna call CPS because like how could you possibly manage any? You know what I mean? And that's
Right.
not the answer because of course I'm gonna kill myself now that you took my children away from me.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
Like
Hell yeah.
But
Right,
not all
for
women
sure.
have that wonderful husband who can do it all.
Or anybody for
Yeah.
that matter.
Yeah.
And that's like another problem that I really, and again, like it's like a double-edged sword, right? Like there was his parents, there were her parents, there was him. Like she had all of these supports seemingly in place, but those supports were failing her all of the time. Like as a mother, I would have never left my daughter
Right.
if she was like, but that generation doesn't know what the hell mental health even looks like because they weren't taught about
It
that.
wasn't a thing.
It wasn't
back
a
then.
thing.
And then they would what did they call it? Hysteria.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Because
yes.
You're a woman, so you're just crazy.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
just because you're a woman.
And how many women got placed in facilities because it was easier to place her in a
Yeah.
facility than to deal with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's oh gosh, this is like such a prime example of how everything could go wrong, even with all of the opportunities for it to go right. Because Patrick and Lindsay were very well off financially. Patrick and Lindsay had both sets of their parents in their
So that just
life.
proves like what stress did she have?
Yeah.
She had family, she had money, she had this perfect
Seemingly
marriage,
perfect thing.
everything, all of us, so many women out there, they don't have the money, they don't have the family, they don't have all the things, so they have that stress. So clearly, if she's struggling, then she's really struggling because
There's
there's not
something
money,
wrong.
there's not all these huge burdens on her.
Right.
She was struggling.
And they weren't
Really bad.
struggling financially,
Right.
even though she wasn't going back to work. And like, dude, there are some wild theories which I haven't delved into it, but like this new woman that like clearly he has a fucking type. Let's start there because
Yeah, I
he's
saw
also in the freaking medical field.
And they look
She
similar.
looks, she looks just like her.
Mhm.
But she was commenting on his social media while Lindsay and him were still married and together.
So he knew
So
her.
he knew her.
I don't know that much about that.
Okay.
I just know people are also saying like, why did he, move on so quickly? It was like 4 months after. But okay, yes, I agree with that. Like that seems fast. But also like if he isn't to blame, then he probably, in my assumption, is that he was just so eager to like feel happiness again that he jumped
Yeah.
into a relationship.
Yeah,
Which
because
is also
he's
human.
He's married.
Yeah.
He has a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just lost everything. So like I don't know. I don't
I
think
don't
he
know.
intentionally like disregarded what she was going through.
Do
And
you
I
need
kind
to
of
like listen to some of the way that he answers the questions? I'm really struggling. I don't want to villainize anybody because I'm not in that situation. I don't know what happened, but bro, like
I haven't heard enough to really speak
Yeah.
on him
I
specifically.
struggle with him greatly because I just like I feel like I don't understand. I just don't
think
understand.
the trial should even happen
Yeah.
because she's ill.
She needs to be
She's done what she's
institutionalized.
done. Clearly, she feels remorse, and what can she do? She can't take it back. Prison is what? Does she deserve prison? I don't think she's a bad person.
Guys, like
Yeah.
even just like the
She also shouldn't be out living her best life, though. You know what I
No.
mean? Like I think what's
But I
done
think,
is done, and she's going to suffer the rest of her life. So
oh yeah, for sure. There's natural consequences that she's experiencing that she'll experience every single day. I don't necessarily, but see, here's my thing, and this is me because of like all that I know about trauma, all that I know about the human body and emotionally, whatever. I don't think that it's I don't think that she's irreparable. I think that like if she was institutionalized, she had the right therapy, the right medication, the right people
Yeah.
on her side. I do think that she can successfully go back out into the world. Is she going to be who she was before she murdered the children? No. Do we live in a society that there would be absolutely no way that she could live a normal life because people would know who she is? Also, yes. But does
Well, I
that
don't know because
mean
Casey Anthony's out there living her best life.
Yeah, that's a whole
I'm just saying,
other-
like,
yeah,
now, you know what I
maybe
mean?
so maybe she could.
If she's really like psychotic and like evil, if she's really a bad person, then yeah,
She
she
would
probably
live her
could
best
get out
life,
and
yeah.
live great. But I don't think that's the case. And
For
even,
her, I don't. Yeah,
even if she tried and she was medicated properly, what's happened, I think it would drive anyone crazy. Like,
Yeah,
how could
as
she
a
ever
mother.
not be unwell from that? Like,
Yeah.
no, not only did your children die, but you did it.
You did it,
Yeah,
and
and you
in
loved
such a
Yeah.
fucking horrible
Yeah.
way. Like those kids suffered through their death, and like that's the part. Like, and I can tell. Like that's why most people say what they're saying. Like why they're so angry with her is because they're mothers, and like I couldn't even freaking fathom doing something like
Yeah.
that. I couldn't fathom it. Like, but that also I feel like proves the point. Like we as women, as mothers, we can't fathom doing that. Nobody in their right fucking mind would.
But then when it comes back to like for me, like suicide, and
Mhm.
when I was having those thoughts, it wasn't that I thought that anyone would be better off without me, like my kids or my family. It wasn't that. I felt like I physically couldn't bear the pain anymore.
Right.
But then I didn't do it, I think, greatly because of my kids, because I knew what pain that would put them through. So it's like, I don't think she planned on killing herself as well. Like, so it's not like she was just like, I'm gonna murder my kids because I'm crazy. She was like, I have to end
everything.
my whole life, and I'm taking them with me. You
And
know what I
she
mean?
tried 3 different ways to kill herself. That's the thing too. She overdosed herself on a unbelievable amount of medication. She then tried to cut herself, which again, biologically speaking, your brain doesn't allow you to make those.
Oh, that just makes me cringe.
Yeah, like
Mhm.
and when you look at case studies about people who have attempted suicide by a sharp object, by cutting themselves, there is hesitation marks because the pain is unbearable. Like your brain doesn't want you to do that. Obviously, some people, because they're so unwell, end up succeeding in that. But not only did she try and cut herself by her wrist, but she tried to slit her own throat. The amount of physicality that goes with that alone, and then like having the fortitude to be able to surpass your body's survival instincts, that's crazy. So she took the medication and that wasn't happening fast enough. She tried cutting herself and she couldn't do that. She tried cutting her neck and she couldn't do that. So then she jumped out of a second story
The second story, like I have a 2-story house, and
head first. And now she's paralyzed
that's
and
an
she coded.
awful. I know. I'm just like, oh, like second story
Yeah.
doesn't seem like a death sentence. It seems like, okay, I'm probably gonna paralyze myself. I mean, realistically, but then
But
again,
if you're
she
in
wasn't in her
psychosis,
right mind.
yeah.
But like, I think I'd be trying to get up, 4 or 5 stories to like actually 2 stories is
Yeah, but like, what was she gonna?
She
Like, she's
couldn't-
already all
yeah,
the way in it.
right.
She'd
But
already
that's
taken the
just
kid's life.
wild to me that was
Because a normal person, a rational
right.
person, would
Would
be like,
be like,
probably,
that's not-
that's not
yeah.
gonna, that's not gonna
You're
happen.
gonna
But
break your leg.
but she did succeed. Like that's the
Yeah.
other thing that people aren't talking about. She succeeded. She did kill herself,
But
but
just brought her back.
yeah, but the medical field brought her back, and they brought her back. Was it twice? I don't know. But the thing is that she succeeded. You guys like if Patrick would have been 5 to 10 minutes later, she would have been dead. And the fact that she did this in January when it was so cold outside that like hypothermia was because she experienced hypothermia. Also, people have survived incredible things because their body temperature was low enough to
Oh,
be
yeah.
able to survive it. So, like, also, that is a whole other factor that I don't think that is being talked about too. That's how come there was no bleeding when they came into on scene outside from her cuts because it was
She's cold, yeah.
freaking cold. Her body couldn't even like produce that anymore. She was in hypothermia. So like if it hadn't been wintertime outside, if it hadn't been that Patrick showed up when he showed up, if even just like the way that he was staying with her instead of checking on the children, like he stayed with her for so long before entering the house and checking on the children. And like, I don't know, is that a man thing? Like,
I
what
feel
is
like
that? Because you're just so much in that traumatic response, like you.
Yeah, I feel like okay, when I had my first daughter, it was an emergency C-section, and it was really, really scary for both me and the baby. And Nick being a good husband, I don't know if it's right or wrong, but in the moment, they took the baby away, like just across the room, and he stayed by my side, and he told them like he couldn't go over there because he was so worried about me,
Right.
because he
But
was
did
in
he
shock. It
know
was such a scary thing. He thought I
that
was
she was
going to die.
But he knew that the baby was okay.
No, he didn't.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay.
And that was the thing, is that like I think in those moments, like I can't judge what he was thinking by not going and checking on the kids, because he was such in shock of watching me dying that like he was like, I think I'm speaking for him and I don't want to do that, but like he thought like if I was gonna die, he wanted to be there by my side
Yeah.
and let the doctors
Handle
Yeah.
the baby that he just met.
Yeah.
Like I can get that.
Yeah, I don't
do.
think
I
it was
get
like
that.
a choice that he was making.
No.
I think it was just like in the
That's what it
moment.
was.
So yeah, like maybe he did love her so much that he was like, she's dying, she's dead. Like I can't
need to
even
save
think
her.
clearly. Like maybe the
Right.
kids weren't even in his train of thought at that time.
Sure.
Like I don't know.
Yeah.
And I feel like yeah, if I went and found my husband in that condition, even with the kids in the house, I wouldn't think, oh, he killed the kids. I would just be
Right.
like, oh my God, I need to be with you right now. I don't know. Like, I feel like that's.
But also, like, your husband has never said that he wanted to kill the
Right.
kids. But Lindsay did say I think about the kids dying. But see, Patrick says that anytime she said that, she would like perceive these unnatural deaths or like, and he kept saying like she was being dramatic, like,
Yeah.
oh, like there would be a stomach ache and she thought that, Cora was going to die. And so it was like over dramatized delusions that the children were going to have like intimate deaths by something that a person who had rational thoughts would be like, no, there's no way.
Yeah.
But like,
That's stacking up over and over and over and over. You're like, I just want it to stop.
Mhm.
yeah.
I want, even though it might seem dramatic and over
She should have just never been
Well,
left alone.
alone.
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
She should have just never like that. Somebody should have been with her at all times until they knew that she was genuinely better. Like prior to her best day, a couple weeks before that, she was institutionalized. She was at a hospital. A couple
So, yeah,
weeks
I don't
before
know. I
that,
don't
she
know
was
that.
like, yeah, she was like had like massive insomnia. She was up for 6 days. Like
Yeah.
there's
red
all of
flag.
these
It's red
things.
flags of
Mhm.
like why? Yeah. Why?
Like,
Are
why
you-
could you not think like, yeah, like it might be a great day, but like there was so much that led up to that. There was months of her not being okay.
Again, more the societal pressure of like, oh well, he's got to get back to work. We got to
Yeah.
just like.
I'm home.
Oh really?
Oh.
Yeah.
She
See, I
walked
don't know.
to
I
a
don't.
finished basement.
I just haven't clicked. I've just seen
Yeah.
it scrolling, and I'm
There's
just
door.
like,
Okay, I'm sorry. There's DoorDash.
You
could have
clearly like dived in.
I have it. Yeah, and that's why I'm so frustrated with other human beings who have dived in just as much as like what I have. Because how do you guys not see it? How do you guys not see that this was 110% preventable? It was preventable.
But they're saying like it was premeditated because she was
Yeah.
like texting him like, oh, go get me this and how long are you gonna be there and like
Yeah,
what's your
and here's
ETA,
yeah,
so
and here's the other thing. He left to go to New York for 2 days. She could have killed the children and herself then, and she didn't. He was gone for all kinds of boy day trips, okay? She could have done it then. So if it was premeditated, there was a much
she
easier
had
time
plenty
frame
of chances.
than like a 3-minute CVS trip, a 12-minute trip to getting dinner. So like at most, I mean, all of this occurred in less than 30 minutes. It's a lot of like just like time pressure for her to like kill the kids, kill herself, do whatever she was going to do. However it was going to turn out, even if people want to believe that the premeditation was she was going to kill the children because she didn't want her children anymore and she wanted to live her best life somewhere else.
She wouldn't have tried to kill herself though, that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And in the ways that she did, like she's paralyzed. She's never going to have a normal life, even just that alone, despite the fact that she murdered her own children. That's a lot of time pressure. So like no matter what, a normal, rational human being would have done that premeditated stuff when it was more convenient.
Mhm.
Like I know
And
that
she
sounds
probably
really
wouldn't
morbid, but
have
she
done
would
it in
have.
such a gruesome way. Like maybe like let's make a batch of Kool-Aid and I'll drink it, or like
Yeah.
while our dad's away. I mean, like something
Yes.
more
Not
humane, I guess, than
Yeah.
like strangling them. So
Right.
like that makes me think she just had lost
She-
her mind.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And let's be real. If you are a murderer in any capacity, especially as a woman with children, if you're doing this, you're unwell.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Even if it was premeditated, even if there wasn't psychosis.
Unless it was like some mother that was just a horrible mom and an evil person and everybody knew that, like
Right.
Casey Anthony.
Right.
You know.
Evil. There's
Right.
anything wrong with
Right.
you.
But
Mentally,
she was a
you're
good
not
mom
okay.
and she
Yeah.
loved them. So
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Ugh.
I hadn't really like processed or like thought it through,
Yeah.
but now I kind of do agree that
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know what I thought, but now, yeah, I'm pretty convinced that I don't know about the husband though. Like,
I know. I struggle with
I
that
think
too.
that if he loved her, he couldn't probably wrap his head around that. You know what I mean? And like,
Yeah.
I don't know what his past looks like, but if he's never had any type of like
Yeah.
mental health in his family or himself, like maybe he couldn't understand what she was saying, and maybe he did think it was dramatic. Nick had never experienced,
Mhm.
my husband never experienced any type of like trauma or mental
Mhm.
health in his life.
Right.
So like but working as a police officer, he
That
was
was
on
a big
calls
one. Mhm.
all the time of people that just randomly killed themselves, you know,
Ugh.
or like seemingly randomly.
Right.
So it's like he was fearful up for the things I was saying, but
Hmm.
also like he didn't know what to do. Like, do I like he was like, but are you okay? Like, or what do you want? I remember him specifically saying really often, like, what can I do for you? Like,
Yeah.
and if I just like, I don't know, then what's he supposed to do? You know what I mean?
Right.
And if you aren't actively a threat to yourself or others, they will not admit you. So even
Right.
if Nick took me in and was like, she keeps telling me she wants to kill herself, she keeps telling me that she
Hmm.
can't live anymore, or whatever, then they ask me like, oh, but did you try to kill yourself? Are you going to kill yourself
Do
today?
you have a
Like, do you
plan?
have a plan? And if
Hmm.
I say no, well,
Right
Yep.
go
there.
home.
There's the broken
Yeah.
system of like,
Or
let's change the system.
so the person that actively is feeling that way has to say, like, I am going to, and I need you to admit me. You have to
Hmm.
self-admit. And so that's what I did. And it was like in the morning, right after we took the kids to school. We went to my mom's house to drop off the baby, and I cried and I told her, like, I have to go. And she couldn't understand either. I think she thought I was being dramatic also. But like Nick knew, like, if that I needed that. So then I
Hmm.
did have to self-admit, you know, and he had to drive me, which it's like that was a perfect world. That was a perfect situation for us. Like it's horrible that it was happening to me, but I was able to recognize what was happening to me and he
Hmm.
was able to recognize that like I have to listen and get her there.
Right.
But in most situations like theirs, he couldn't understand what she was going through.
Hmm.
She didn't tell anyone or I mean, she did, but like that day she couldn't like understand like this is what I'm doing, or she couldn't tell him that
Right.
morning like, hey, I think today's the day, you know, like so in my situation it was different and every situation is different.
And I also want to preface this by saying you guys were treatment level foster parents, and the educational background that you had on trauma and
Yeah.
mental health
Yeah.
also helped supported
And me
the
growing
choices
up
that you
with
guys.
my dad being mentally ill
Right.
to the most extreme.
Right.
Um, yeah.
It plays a huge
Yeah,
factor.
I could, and I also went to school for psychology for 3 years.
Yeah.
So like and part of going to school for psychology is analyzing your own brain. And
Yeah.
that's why a lot of people actually don't finish school because it's so difficult to do that.
Hmm.
So like yeah, I don't want to say I know everything, but I knew enough what was happening inside of me that
It
I
wasn't
could
right.
recognize it in time.
Hmm.
I don't think I ever would have killed my children, but there was times that I felt like I couldn't do it anymore and that I was like a burden on them, I guess.
Yeah.
But then I also was able to recognize like what it would do to them if I did. So
Right.
then I was like, well, just take me to the hospital and then,
Right.
you know, and they all know, all my kids know. They don't know like, you know, the darkest
Age
parts.
appropriate.
Right. But
Mhm.
there was no kids allowed at the hospital under 12. So my oldest son did visit and we like went to a gym inside the hospital and like we played basketball and stuff and like he cried for me because he understood but like they all and I wrote my daughter a letter while I was in there and she still has it and like
She's pretty amazing though. She's like
yeah
an old soul.
yeah but like I couldn't hurt them like that's the difference so for me it's just hard to wrap my head around the whole
Yeah.
situation
I don't
she
believe that you were in active psychosis. I think you were
no
heading down
no
that path.
yeah
Yeah.
there was but that's the thing is that the intrusive thoughts
Yeah.
are what like lead into psychosis like I said
Correct.
and I still to this day have intrusive thoughts and one of my
Mhm.
main ones which I told my husband recently not recently but in the last few months that I was really struggling with an intrusive thought usually it's one for a while like specific that I'm gonna back over a child with my car. Not intentionally, but like I
On
live in
accident.
town. Yeah, and he goes, "Oh, that makes sense." Because a lot of the time when I leave the house, he's watching me out the kitchen window because it's directly looking at my
Mhm.
driveway. And I sit there like looking and looking and looking and looking, like, are there any kids behind me?
Mhm. Mhm.
I don't know why. And I can it's not even just thinking like, oh, maybe I'll back over a child on accident. It's like I can see it. I can feel it. I can hear the crunch. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like it's an
Mhm.
intrusive, sick thought
Mhm.
that I can't make my brain, you know,
Shut
stop
off.
thinking. Yeah,
Mhm.
there was one when I was really in the depth of the darkness of stepping on nails. Like the whole floor was covered in nails, and it's not like, oh man, that would hurt if I stepped on nails. It was like I could feel it on my
Mhm.
feet. Like the thought was so, you know, so it's like if that kept progressing, those thoughts keep getting scarier and scarier and scarier.
Yeah.
Like maybe, yeah, I mean, maybe things can, well, clearly they can, but I don't know. I can't like disregard that she's completely lost her mind
Yeah,
in that
absolutely.
moment, at least.
Yeah, for sure.
Intrusive thoughts are difficult.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think this was a good pause for the show, right? And of course, I want to say, like, thank you so much for being on. It takes a lot of strength and a lot of courage to talk about hard things. I think that these kind of conversations are absolutely necessary and need to happen.
Yeah.
And for our listeners out there, take a couple of deep breaths. This was some heavy shit. And I know that it probably brought a lot up for emotions and things to think about, and to know that genuinely, you know, like, not that we want to do sound cliche, but it's cliche for a reason. Like, you truly aren't alone. There are people out there who
Yeah.
care in some capacity, even if they have no idea who you are. So if you're dealing with mental health issues, if you're dealing with intrusive thoughts, if you're dealing with thoughts of potentially harming yourself or others, please reach out. There are resources available.
Well, and even if your doctor isn't understanding or listening, just keep trying, find more doctors, talk
There
to
will
new
be
doctors.
someone.
There will be someone that understands. Like
Absolutely.
there will. So
There
like,
will.
and chances are your first one won't.
Right.
Because they see so many, you know.
And our system is broken.
Yeah.
And we need you to exist on this earth for a very specific purpose. No matter what your belief system is, even if you believe in absolute nothingness, there's still a reason you are here.
Yeah.
And like, we're not trying to do something temporary for you, or you
That'll
you know,
last
that,
forever.
Yeah,
Yeah. Something
it's not
in
a
one
permanent
moment.
solution to a temporary existence in the
Yeah.
moment. There can be things that change, and there are people out there.
And I'm a testament of it. My life is changed completely.
Yeah.
I'm perfect now. I mean, no one's perfect, but like
Yeah.
in my head, I'm great.
Yeah.
Never been better. Never felt this way in my life.
Yeah.
So like there is help, and there are proper avenues to take and meds and
the people who are truly meant to be in your life will understand and be there at the end. I lost Sadie for 2 years. I didn't have her for 2 years.
And our friendship really showed that at that time, because I remember you coming over and being like, wow, like I never see you anymore. And I told you, I didn't tell you the depths of it, but I was like, I've just been really struggling with my mental health. And you were just like, dang, okay. And then again, I disappeared, you disappeared, you know, but like, I also feel comfortable enough now that I can tell you everything, but like, you need to be there for your friends that tell you that, and like maybe ask questions and and
give space as space is needed, because
and that was
did
what
not
I
need.
And I kind of told you that like, I'm not that day specifically, like I don't want to talk about it, but I'm struggling. I've been struggling. That's all. Like that's all. I'm okay, but I'm struggling. And you let me have that space until I was ready to talk about it.
Yep. And here we are. So the people who are meant to be, and the ones who leave and who are no longer a part of your life, they're not supposed to be in your life forever. They're only supposed to be there for a season or a chapter in it, and that's okay too. Yeah. So please comment, email us, whatever you would like to do. If you need an ear, we are always here. So until next time, welcome home.
Bye.
If today's conversation gave you something to think about,
we'd love for you to share it with someone who might need it too.
Following our podcast and leaving us reviews helps these conversations reach way more people.
And if you'd like to continue the conversation beyond the podcast, you can find us through Starlight and Sage for classes, workshops, coaching, corporate wellness, breathwork and sound healing, movement, and community.
Until next time, remember, coming home to yourself isn't something that you arrive at once. It's something that you practice every day. Everything we share on this podcast is intended for educational and informational purposes. While we discuss topics related to wellness, movement, nutrition, relationships, spirituality, nervous system health, and personal growth, these conversations are not a substitute for individualized medical, mental health, or professional care. Our hope is to help you find a better understanding for your body, ask meaningful questions, and make informed decisions alongside your healthcare professional that you trust. At Starlight and Sage, we believe your body carries wisdom. We simply hope these conversations help you learn to listen.